Hey guys, it's Ornlu, and I said I wanted to do some more weird AoE mechanics videos, and here we are, back in the scenario editor. And this is a topic I talked about briefly in my one of my useless facts videos a long time ago, but I wanted to go into more detail here, and I kind of fell down a rabbit hole, and it seems like the monk behavior when it comes to picking up and dropping relics has changed. So let's just dive into this and see how much you don't need to know about how monks and relics interact. Alright, so to start things off, relic is obviously right here. We got ourselves a monk. We pick up the relic, and I'm sure you guys know this, but when you drop a relic, it will just go one tile away from you. But if you look at this, the relic will always go one tile to the left. So you see we're kind of in the middle of this tile right here. And we're basically going one tile to the left every single time. And I even replicated this in a multiplayer game I played recently. But yeah, every single time you drop a relic, it will go one tile to the left. Now, what happens if the monk tragically meets his demise while holding the relic? Well, it will still go one tile, but you can see that it's always going to be centered in a tile instead of when you drop the relic, it can, well, it cannot be centered unless the monk itself is perfectly centered, which this one is not. You can see, again, one tile to the left, but centered. But is this always the case? Monk dies, relic one tile to the left. Monk is going, dies, goes one tile to the left. What? It goes one tile to the bottom? Yeah, sometimes this happens. I'm not entirely sure what causes it, but if we replicate this a bunch of times, and trust me, I've spent way too much time in the editor today with monks and relics, it's not exactly clear when the monk will be depositing the relic in a different direction. You can see right there, it's going down to the right a little bit, even though all these tiles are obviously very open. That one's to the left again. However, there is still that very strong bias to the left, and at least in all the times I've tested monks and relics and dying, which has probably been around 50 so far, the relic has always gone either to the left, which is like 90% of the time, or to the bottom. I've never seen the relic jump to the side, the right side, or to like the northwest area. It's either always directly to the left or to the bottom. Oh, there we go. I got it again. It took like another 15 or so monks, but I got the relic to go one tile directly to the bottom again. I think I had clicked on the monastery. Okay. That clearly doesn't mean anything. But yeah, it's like almost every time the relic is going to the left, but not always. Oh, there we go again. I don't think it matters if the monk is just traveling down. Yeah, that's just right back to the left, even though the monk is clearly traveling down. Yeah, same thing. Jeez. It's like, again, 90+% of the time, the relic goes exactly one tile to the left, but not always. And I have no idea how or why that's in the game, but you know what? The more you learn. Now, how about what if the monk is trapped? Let's get the monk some more friends. Lots of friends for the monk. And if we have these monks encircle this monk. Alright, so this is pretty even on all sides. You know, a more or less uniform blob. What happens when we drop the relic? There isn't enough space. However, I clicked the drop relic button and the monks just decided to wander away. Okay, whatever. So yeah, there isn't enough space. So how many units do we need to remove for there to be enough space? So there you see, there, the monk, once there's like the smallest little gap free, it will be dropping the relic. However, as you saw right there, the relic, although it's going to bias to the left in, you know, every situation it can, it won't do so if the left side is blocked. So again, we're going to have the monks to the north. And also, the relic seems to need almost an entire tile. Yeah, that's so weird. It's like the monk, it can clearly go to the north, but it's like it's trying so hard to go to the left. Okay, we move this monk. Yeah, see, now the relic is just going to go to the top. And notice how it's the top every single time. It's not popping out here to the east. Here, I'll even move these monks away as well to show you. See, it's never going to the right or to the, I guess, northeast. Now, I've dropped a lot of relics today, and like I said, it's always this direction. All right, so those are the monks when they are surrounded by units, but what if the monk is surrounded by a building? So monk in the more or less the center of this tile. Drop the relic, it's going to go to the left because that's what it always does. If we block that leftmost tile, now all these other tiles are available, you can see here, the relic will sort of jump between the northwest and the north. Depending where I am on the tile, it seems. But it's always one of these two spaces. I think if I'm too close to this palisade, it goes to the top. But if I'm not too close to the palisade... No, that one was kind of far away from the palisade. I'm still not exactly sure what causes this. But you can see that there's like a degree of randomness, but it's still pretty predictable. Now you can see with that tile plugged up, the relic is always going here to the east or to the northeast. Now it is no longer going to the north, even though the tile directly to the north of the monk is still exposed. I mean, even if I go like right over here, it's going to go to the east. Okay, that one did go to the north. Okay, I have to like really be close to it. But yeah, I can still get it to scooch to the north. And basically that's going to happen all the way around. What happens if we put the monk in jail? You've been in the doghouse. Once again, not enough room for the monk to unload. What happens if the monk dies, though? You can see, again, one tile to the left, as close as you can make it. And I didn't show it to you, but it's the exact same when the monk dies if it's surrounded by a bunch of other units. It will just hop to the left one tile. However, is that going to hold true if we add another layer of walls? So we got our monk. He's going back into position. Put him back in jail. But you can see here, we're going to block up that tile. If the monk, not able to drop the relic, but if he dies, it's going to go to the tile right next to it. Interestingly. So let's see if we can create a pattern. Now we're going to block up that tile. Is it going to go to this tile? Nope. That would be too easy. And it goes like to the complete opposite side. But let's see if this is something we can replicate. Okay, now it's going to the far south? Is this just completely random? Is it based on where the monk is in relation to the tile? No, it's not. I had the monk at the far north of the tile, as close as I could to the topmost palisade, but it still deposited it to the very south. So again, this is like semi-replicable because it's always going to either this tile or this tile. I'm going to do it a few more times just to make sure. Okay, I tried it a few more times, and the relic went to the far south every single time. But again, that's only if the leftmost tile is blocked, because if I delete that, boom, it goes right back over there. But how deep does this go? If we really put the monk in jail, will it just keep on going to the side? Alright, the monk is now in a 3-tile-thick jail cell. What happens? It goes to the north. Try that again. To the north. Of course. Why would it be anything else? Even if I go to like the very bottom of this tile, still goes to the north. Okay, so I'm editing the video, and of course I realize that this cage here is actually only 6 tiles wide this way, and that the reason that the relic is jumping to the north is because there's 1 tile too short. I didn't wall it in this direction enough. So it's still actually following the same rule as jumping to the left-hand side, or at least as close as it can, going up to the north. It's just this happens to be 1 tile in this direction. Okay, the monk is now even more in jail. And again, it's like once it reaches a certain threshold, it will always go as much to the top as possible. Although I guess this is only 4 tiles, right? If we make this northern section 1 tile thicker, Now it's just going over there because, of course, why would it go anywhere else? That defies logic. So it seems like there is a degree of random. Again, I can't say it's completely random, but it seems like there's a specific set of, I guess, rules that maybe someone else is smart enough to figure out, but that is not me. Same thing, except it's like one tile slightly further that way. Now, for the final building test, you can see that if there's a narrow pathway to victory, I still can't drop it off. It seems like you need like a full tile of openness to drop it. But the monk will still drop it in that empty space if the monk dies and the relic has to go somewhere. Now, I've randomly deleted some holes in this palisade, and let's see where the relic goes. Does it just bump to the outside where there's like all the space? Or does it just go to the closest space inside, which is that tile? Or does it go somewhere else? Oh, sorry, that one was a little bit closer. But yes, it goes to the closest open tile, even if there are, you know, lots of other spaces around it. And again, we see this bias towards the left. Next up, walls. Now, walls are pretty straightforward. They act like a barrier like we've just been doing with our testing, so you can't deposit relics on the other side of a wall. At least not like that. Gates are a bit of a different story. Now, if you're right over here, the gate will be treated as a closed building, or, you know, a solid wall, and the relic will, of course, be deposited to the upper right. However, if you're in the gate, the relic can go to the other side, and you can see that on Arena sometimes. Also, the relic can be in the gate, in which case the relic will, you know, be there, and the monk can pick it up even if the gate's locked. But it won't. The relic can't propagate open. Oh, actually, I lied. You can't actually. You cannot access the relic. I was able to on my test earlier. Let's see if we can replicate this. Okay, gate's locked. Okay, so it seems like if it's close enough to the other side, the monk has to go all the way around. Yeah, able to pick it up on the other side, but I guess there's a certain angle that if it's like just in the middle, you can't pick it up. Now, the last thing I want to test with walls is, because we're always, you know, biased towards the left, will this hop over the wall if the monk is in exactly this situation? No, it will not. It's just going to keep on going to the right. And if the monk dies... But if the monk dies, it will hop over. So again, it's one of those things where the monk dying makes the relic interact differently than when the monk is just trying to drop the relic. Also able to pick up through the wall. Yeah, again, relic hops over. But this will only happen if the relic is, you know, across the wall to the west, I guess. For instance, if you tried this, the relic is still just going to go to the left no matter what. Last for today, we have transport ships. Now, as I'm sure many of you know, we get on the transport ship at this tile here. Right here. Transport sails away, and oh no, the monk dies. The relic will be transported not back to the tile where the relic got on, but rather, again, one tile to the left. And we can easily replicate it again. Monk gets on right there. Relic spawns right there. It happens every single time. We can even try it from a different tile. We'll try it from this tile. Anyway, we got on right there. Relic should spawn right there. Indeed it does. Of course, what happens if we start blocking stuff up? Once again, we're going to get on over there, and it's palisading time. Alright, we have completely walled off the area where the monk got on. Relic's still just going to go to the leftmost free tile possible. That is closest to when the monk got on. And of course, if we do this, block that square, monk gets on there, it should bump to one of these free spots. Indeed it does. So it starts that whole pattern of blocking that we saw earlier. But note how even though there's plenty of open spots over on the other sides of this lake, the relic is still going to spawn right here. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. It probably wasn't anything useful, but hey, that's what this video is all about. Just random stuff that you don't need to know. But thank you all so much for watching. I do want to give a quick shout out to my Patreon supporters with Anonymous and Jared in the Great Wolf tier, and then Carolyn, Dieter, Liquid Egg Product, Triru, Tanduri in the Dire Wolf tier. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.